What if your AI assistants could talk directly to your Kubernetes cluster? No copy-pasting kubectl output, no feeding it YAML files. Right now, Claude is querying my live cluster in real time, and I can easily understand what is happening across all the clusters that I'm managing. By the end of this video, you'll see how you can manage your Kubernetes clusters from Claude Desktop using different Kubernetes-MCP servers, how to set this up, and why this changes the way we interact with our clusters. Let's get into it. But first, what is MCP? The Model Context Protocol is an open standard that Anthropic has released in late 2024. You should think of it as a universal adapter between AI models and external systems like databases, file systems, APIs, and of course, Kubernetes clusters. Before MCP, if you wanted Claude or any other LLM to interact with your tools, you had to build custom integrations for each pairing, and MCP standardizes that. You implement the protocol once, and any MCP-compatible client can actually use it. The adoption has been massive. There are thousands of MCP servers right now. OpenAI, Microsoft, Google, AWS, Cloudflare, they've all embraced it. And in December 2025, Anthropic actually donated MCP to the Linux Foundation, putting it alongside Kubernetes and Node.js as a foundational open standard. So MCP is the protocol. Now let's talk about a Kubernetes implementation. We will explore two MCP servers, and you'll see at a glance what the difference is between them. The Kubernetes MCP server is maintained under the Containers GitHub organization. It's a native Go implementation that talks directly to the Kubernetes API. You don't need to parse any CLI output. There are direct API calls. Why does that even matter? Well, you don't have any external dependencies. You don't need Node, you don't need Python, or even kubectl installed. It's just a single binary. Your API calls go straight to the cluster. It reads your kubeconfig and switches context just like kubectl does. And in terms of what it can do, you've got read operations like listing pods, getting logs, and checking resource consumption. Write operations like creating resources, scaling deployments, and executing commands in pods, and Helm operations for installing and managing charts. You can also lock it down with safety modes, read-only, disable destructive, or limit which toolsets are exposed. Let me show you how to set it up. I'm going to use Claude Desktop, but the same approach works for VS Code, Cursor, or any MCP-compatible client. Now I'm in Claude, so we can go to Settings. And in the settings, select Developer. And in Developer, you're going to see the Local MCP Servers option. You can click on Edit Config. And then just open the Claude Desktop config.json file. And under MCP Servers, you just need to ensure that you have this Kubernetes one right here with the command npx -y Kubernetes MCP Server. Don't worry, this command is going to be available in the video description and also a link to the GitHub repository that hosts the Kubernetes MCP Server. Now you simply need to save the file and restart Claude Desktop and you'll be good to go. So now I'm back in Claude, so let's ask it to list our existing Kubernetes clusters. You can see that Claude wants to actually use my Kubernetes MCP server to list the context, so let's allow it only once. And you can see that we have 4 clusters configured and all of them are actually in my kubeconfig. So now let's ask it something more interesting, like what problems do I have in my Minikube cluster? And you can see I have a typo, but Claude will actually just go past that. So allow it once. You can always allow it if you want, but I'm doing it right now just to show you that we have some security measures into place. Then you can see here a summary of the issues that it found in my Minikube cluster, and you can see that I have a couple of restarts. Some minor concerns as well. 8 restarts, this is worth watching. And several pods have 3 9 restarts. The good news is we don't have any active warnings, but let's ask the MCP server to create some. So do I have any Nginx pods? Okay, it gave me a list of Nginx pods. And now, let's say I want to change the image for this one to be Nginx and just gibberish text. And it says, okay, you want to update the image for this. The tag doesn't look like it exists, so this will cause an image pullback off. Should I go ahead anyway? Yes, do it, please. It also just found out that it has to actually update the deployment because the pod is managed by the deployment, so it wants to find it first, so let's allow it. And now it's done. The Nginx deployment in the Claude namespace has been updated to this new image, and basically we now have an image pull back off. The old pod will keep running until the new one is ready, but it never will be ready with this tag. So let me know if you want to roll back to Nginx Alpine. Not yet. I want you to actually show me all the pods that have errors in all namespaces. And as you can see, we have this one with the error image pool. So let's revert back and fix the issue. And now show me the pods again. And we can see the Claude namespace is clean and the original pod is running with Nginx Alpine, 1 out of 1 running, the bad pod is gone. The biggest downside to this MCP server is that it only works with your existing kubeconfig file. This is where the Lens-MCP-Server comes in. With the Lens-MCP-Server, you give your AI assistants access to all the Kubernetes clusters you have access to in your Lens account. If you don't already know, Lens integrates natively with AWS EKS and Azure AKS, so you don't have to actually add these clusters manually in your kubeconfig. And in addition to that, Lens also has a teamwork feature, so if someone has set up a team space and you are invited to it, the MCP server will actually have access to all the clusters in that team space. And let's see how this one works. So now I'm in Lens. So to enable the MCP server, we'll first go to settings. And in here, you will see the option to toggle it on. And you also need to ensure that you have Lens CLI already in your path. I already have this, but you can click this button to actually add it if you don't. So now in Claude Desktop config.json, ensure that you have the Lens MCP server added using the command lens with the arg MCP server. And then restart Claude Desktop again. So now we are actually ready to use the Lens MCP server. So using the Lens MCP server, please list all my Kubernetes clusters. And you can see here all the Kubernetes clusters I have configured in Lens Desktop. And you can see I have an AWS EKS one and Azure AKS ones as well. And these are done through the Lens integrations directly to the cloud providers. And on the right-hand side right here, you can also see a status column, and basically we have only a single cluster connected right now. And this is done on purpose because in this way you can filter to how many clusters you are connected to. And in that way you can actually debug more intentionally, let's say. So let's ask the MCP server to connect to the Lens AKS cluster. Then it's connected to Lens AKS. Show me all the connected clusters only. And you can see we have 2 connected clusters. Now show me the issues I have in all of these clusters. And you can see at a glance all the issues that are present here. So you can also ask Claude to tell you what you can do with the Lens MCP server. So you can see at a glance that you can do cluster management, Kubernetes exploration, and even Prometheus monitoring to get instant PromQL queries, to get current metrics, execute different queries to get time series data over a period of time, and other things like that. And what it can do right now is mutate cluster resources. You cannot do applies, deletes, and scale. You can do that directly from kubectl, of course, or from the Lens UI. And you cannot access clusters that aren't actually already added in the Lens Desktop. So why does this even matter? You have to think about your typical troubleshooting workflow. You open a terminal, you run kubectl get pods, you find a problem, run kubectl describe, check the events, run kubectl logs, and in the end you have to cross-reference documentation and maybe finally apply a fix. With MCP, this actually changes. If a pod is failing in namespace X, you can ask your AI assistant to diagnose it. It will list the pods for you, find the unhealthy ones, pull the logs, analyze events, and tell you what's wrong. Now I know what you're thinking. Should I really give an AI access to my cluster? And that's a fair question, and here's how you can manage that risk. First, you should use read-only mode for exploration and troubleshooting, no modifications possible. Secondly, disable any destructive operations. If you want creates and updates, that's okay, but don't do deletes. Third, you have to keep in mind that the MCP servers are going to use your kubeconfig credentials or the RBAC you have for EKS and AKS. If your user isn't able to actually delete pods, neither will Claude, and everything will go through the Kubernetes API, so your existing audit logging should capture it all. If you found this useful, hit that like button, subscribe if you want more DevOps and Kubernetes content, and let me know in the comments if you're going to try any of these MCP servers. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.